Hey folks, Vortex here and welcome to my review of the NF Audio NA3. These are a single dynamic driver per side and they're much cheaper than the other NF Audio model I've tried. I think it was the NM3, I might be mistaken. I'll link in the description because it's the same company. And yet, as full disclaimer is, I bought this from the Yayo Tiger Hi-Fi Audio store off AliExpress. I was not paid to this video and all thoughts and opinions are my own. And yeah, let's just get into it. So a company I'm not that familiar with, I've only tried one item from them and they seem to me like more labelled for like stage use, monitoring use and things like that. So some specs, obviously model, dimensions, weight, double cavity dynamic, 0.782 pin, which we'll see in a bit. 10 Hz to 40 kHz, 3.5, maximum SPL sensitivity, 32 ohm pins, which is slightly higher, but again nothing too big. And it says sound isolation 25 dB, which is quite a lot for single dynamic drivers. If normally balanced armature models seal, they normally seal the best. So let's get this out if I can. Got it. So there is, I think, 3 different colours. There's a black and white one, white and black, and then this, which is the third one. So let's get these out. So they kind of feel a little bit like toys, but the actual construction's fine. So NA3. Music series, obviously it says right. Quite a short bore in height, so that's them. I haven't actually tried these yet, so I'm not sure what they're actually like. Little carry pouch, kind of a fake leather, small, but it seems fine. Cable, obviously mine doesn't have a mic, seems fine. So like, I think kind of like the KZ fitment, straight 3.5. It's a bit rubbery, but I'll try it out. And here we go. Just a bit of paperwork in there. So atmosphere tips and balanced tips. So the only real difference is these balanced tips. Let's get these larger. These are a like normal kind of bore. And obviously the pair that's already on there, it's wide bore. So. And that's it. So yeah, I haven't actually tried these yet, so I don't know if they're good or bad or the kind of tuning, but they might be similarly tuned to the previous model is my kind of best guess. And yeah, and so as usual, I haven't graphed these or I haven't done nothing yet, so I'm going to see you guys and gals in the future and see what the cable's like and what the sound's like. Yeah, so welcome to my review section of NF Audio NA3. I've also done the NM2 a few months ago, so if you want to check that video out, it's a bit more expensive than this and that's clear. But yeah, anyway, let's go into cable because it's on here. As you can see, it's a bit rubbery. The build quality of it is actually fine, like it does what it's supposed to, but these rubbery cables, I'm not really keen on them. But aside the build's fine, sometimes some microphonics, but yeah, that's what it looks like connected. This is a little bit more of aggressively, it's got more of an aggressive sort of, not shape, but it's a little bit stronger. And I found these very secure, but yeah, that's what they look like. The cable is okay, but I prefer something a bit more flexible. They say it's a bit rubbery. So yeah, let's talk about build quality. So build quality is actually more than good enough. They do look a bit like them toys because it's all, it's an all plastic construction, but I have no issues with it. That's obviously the connector type there. Yeah, so comfort. Again, the comfort on these is perfectly fine. These are not very big, they're quite light. You can see that's the nozzle length. So they do go in quite deep. I had no issues at all. I found them very secure. Probably one of the better fitting ones I've tried for quite a while, which is quite an accomplishment. So yeah, that's it. So isolation is very good. It stated on the box, I think it was 20 something decibels of isolation. Very good. Again, they do market these for more like stage use, monitoring use, stuff like that. And you could probably use them for that. They do isolate very well considering it's a dynamic driver. So just bear that in mind. So power and sensitivity is a little bit harder than usual. I know them 32 ohm impedance. I can't remember the sensitivity from memory, but they're a little bit harder to drive. They're not difficult. They're not like planars, which can be a pain. These are not. They're just so if you shouldn't really have any issues. So yeah, it's not too bad at all. So let's talk about stage, shall we? Stage was okay. Is more than enough, but they're not massive or nothing like that. There's enough soundstage, and I found the imaging was okay as well. So sound, which is why we're here, I'll overlay the graph now. Again, I've also graphed the NM2 a while back. So you can see they are V-shaped. So bass on them is elevated, as you can see. I found them good for electronic music, which is typically what I listen to. Good slam hit. The decay on it was fine. I had no issues with it. They're not the best DD experience for bass I've heard, but they're not the worst. I was fine with it. So yeah, the bass is the bass. I was happy with it. So mids, I found these kind of a bit V'd, as you can see. There's a bit of a dip going on. So they do bleed a bit in from the bass. I don't mind that, as long as it's not too much. This is fine. I wish it was probably I wouldn't say they're muddy, but it could be a little bit clearer. But yeah, mids are average to best, really, kind of average. Upper part, as you can see, our vocals are forward. Not too bad. It's not too. They don't sound super shouty, but they are a little bit forward. I was okay with it. I prefer it a bit more balanced than this, but it is what it is. And treble, which is probably the worst part about this, really, is it has an elevation, a lower part, and then it just drops off. Now, I've heard a few that sound a bit like this, which is a shame. Like it can sound bright and then sound darker at the same time because of the bass level is a lot compared to the treble, shall we say. So it does sound detailed and the instruments sound good if they're in the elevated part, but when they're beyond that, like it's they are pushed away. There's also no sibilance, which is quite good. I was hoping for more treble past that and less, so less lower treble and more towards the upper treble. The 8K is just a resonance peak, so there's nothing there. I just wish I had a bit more kind of treble extension. In a way, these are a safe-ish kind of V-shape sound. Again, these are tuned pretty similar to the NM2s, but I haven't listened to them for quite a while, and they're a lot more expensive than these, so that's one thing to bear in mind. But yeah, there's okay. I just feel a little bit disappointed. For what I listened to, it sounded aggressive in parts. I wouldn't say harsh, maybe is probably a better word. So a little bit harsh, then a little bit dark at the same time, because you feel like you're missing some treble details, but then some parts are forward, so it's kind of a bit different, but they are what they are. They're okay. What I say for it all depends on what your music is. Say I like these for electronic, which is what a lot of my library I listen to is just generic trance, side trance, techno, and a few different others. But yeah, they seem fine for that. If you wanted some maybe like classical or hip hop rock, I don't think these are for you. But again, there's so many genres I can't test them all. But they're okay. So yeah. So conclusion, do I recommend these? It's 50-50 on what your library is. For what I listen to, I'd say not really. The cable should have been better, and I think the tuning should be more balanced, but I think they have a certain use case. Like this brand normally advertises their products for stage use, monitoring use, and I've had some other people mention me in the past that they like the tuning, that kind of tuning, because it brings things forward, especially the lower treble. So, but if it suits them better than it suits me, then that's good. You know, it suits their use case. But for me, I'd prefer more upper treble, less lower, and probably a bit calmer in the low end, shall we say. It does bleed quite a bit, but that's what it is. They're not a bad set. I think they're overpriced. If they was half the price, shall we say, then I'd say they're competitive. I think at the price they currently are, I'd say it's a little bit too expensive. And I think that's going to be, if you want to know anything in particular, usually let me know in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. Take care. And my next video will be the Shure D13. So keep an eye out for that one. That's a good set. See you soon.